In almost startling confirmation of the Israelitish origin of Buddhism, many references are to be found in ancient writings, symbols and rock inscriptions which compel us to the conclusion that the original Buddhism was none other than the Israel religion. When the prophet Ezekiel was carried captive to Babylon at the age of 25, both he and his father, Buzi, as Aaronites, had the missionary urge to see the kinsfolk of Israel cleansed from their idolatry and return to the worship of the one true God, the God of Israel. In the book of Ezekiel we have the missionary prophet's denunciation of the sins of the house of Judah, with whose king, Jehoiakim, and court officials Ezekiel was carried captive to Babylon. 2 Kings 24:14-16, Ezekiel 1:2. The prophet covers a wide field, for he sees in a vision the whole house of Israel, 12-tribed Israel, revived and restored to God's favor. The home training of Ezekiel in the house of his father, Buzi, had one object, and that was missions to Israel. Buzi, the Aaronite, with the prophetic eye, saw disaster rapidly approaching for the unfaithful house of Judah, and a like punishment to that which had overtaken the house of Israel 100 years earlier, when the king of Assyria had carried them captive in the reign of Hoshea and placed them in the sea. Ates of the Medes, 2 Kings 17. During a revolt in Assyria, the Israelite captives made their escape and, for the most part, turned southeast to the shores of the Caspian Sea. These tidings having reached Buzi, his missionary spirit was aroused to go forth to these escaped captives, his kinsfolk. Taking with him 5 disciples probably trained in the schools of the prophets, Buzi came to these outcast Israelites with a message of hope and forgiveness. He would make a supreme effort to turn them from idolatry to the worship of the one true God. As he journeyed towards the camping places, his name Buzi became Buddha. This change is easily understood when we realize that in the Semitic languages the Z and D sounds are related, e.g., in Hebrew Zahib and Dahab both mean gold, and so Buddha would be a natural alternative for Buzi. It is then as Buddha that we first hear of Buzi, the father of Ezekiel, between Media and the Caspian Sea, and his followers as Budi. It was from the region of Media that the wise men came to Bethlehem at the time of the birth of our Lord, Budh, in some Oriental languages meaning wise, probably descendants of some of these Israelites who had been taught by Buzi the wise. Now we can see where they got this so-called Jesus story from. These escaped Israelites are mentioned by Herodotus, Book 1, Chapter 1, as belonging to the nation formed by Deioces and as revolting from Assyria and asserting their independence not many years after Israel's deportation to Media in the reign of Hoshea. 2 Kings 17:6. Here amongst these Israelites Buzi, Buddha, began his mission, and in this region Buddhism was found in its most ancient form, and which began to spread about 600 B. C, not as now professed and practiced, nor even altogether as it was established in India under King Asoka 300 years after its first propagation. As Dr. Moore, Lost 10 Tribes, observes, it has been corrupted by various pagan additions and has assumed shapes according to the various idolatries. It has encountered till at length but little of the original remains in a pure form, e.g., the celibacy of priests is now universal. The Israelitish character and origin of Buddhism is seen in many ways. It was a monotheistic reformation of the outcast tribes of Israel, and its symbolism, that of the wheel on the tops of Sanchi, correspond exactly with that described in I Kings 7:33 as in Solomon's temple. There is so close resemblance between Ezekiel's writings and the earliest Buddhist records and inscriptions as to prove that the prophet himself, the son of Buzi, had for his father the original Buddha. The story of the rock inscriptions at Gurna, Delhi and other places is one uniform lament of a nation overwhelmed by fire and sword, scattered and afflicted, and that as a purification from its sins, and that in order to future cleansing and peace. If early Buddhism is shown by Dr. Moore, Lost 10 Tribes, to be of Israelitish derivation, its Saxon origin and affinities are none the less clear. Sakya, or the Saxon, was the founder of Buddhism. The claim for an Israelitish origin for the original Buddha through the name Sakya, or the Saxon son of Isaac, is further strengthened by the fact that Buddha was also known as Jaku, son of Jacob. Commander Roberts' British History traced p. 83. The early Buddhists looked upon themselves as men with a divine mission, and corrupted as has the religion been by Asiatic nations, just as New Testament teaching has been by the Latins. Their influence is still widely felt in India, Ceylon, Burma, Siam, China and Japan. They broke down caste and destroyed brute worship, demanding thought as the foundation of belief, and by teaching equality and goodwill as the foundation of moral excellence. The disciples still profess to be open to new truths, and they are expecting another Messiah. Eggleston or Athelstan, c. 894, the 27th of October 939, was king from 924 to 927 and king of the English from 927 to 939. He was the son of King Edward the Elder and his first wife, Aquinnah. Modern historians regard him as the first king of England and one of the greatest Anglo-Saxon kings. He never married, and was succeeded by his half-brother Edmund.
I will do a lesson on the true Anglos and Saxons.